Good morning. Welcome to God's Work, Our Hands Sunday. We have lots of activities at St. Mark's this morning, including our adult forum, which will focus on Hunters Point, and we have wonderful guests from the Maria Harrison Foundation, Community Foundation. St. Mark's has a long history of care for creation and the environment, and also care for humans, other people in our community. And so this is a perfect nexus of combining environmental justice. And so I want to welcome you to both of our speakers. We have Arieann Harrison, founder and executive director of the Maria Harrison Community Foundation, and also Tonia Randell, who is the administrative director on the board and CEO that does does all the logistics and making sure everything runs smoothly. So I will hand it over to
Arieann Harrison.
Arieann.
Good morning. How is everybody feeling? Is everybody good? I can't hear you guys. I gotta shake it up a little bit because I gotta wake you up. How's everybody doing? Is everybody okay? Hello? Hear me? Well, I don't really need a mic because I'm 5 foot.
Check, check. Check, test, test.
You can hear it. Keep going. Okay, so this morning I'd like to wake you guys up a little bit. We're going to start with a little call and response. So I want to say, when I say can we, can you guys say live? Can we? When I say can we, can you say live? Can we? And that is what we are fighting for in the Bayview-Hunters Point District 10. Okay, my name is Arieann Harrison. I am the founder and executive director of Maria Harrison Community Foundation, Inc. for social and environmental justice. Why? My why is so big that I can run through walls with it. I believe in God still moves. That is something I say at the beginning and at the end of every protest. That's something that I shout in my room before I leave and get up in the morning and go out into this great big world to battle Goliath. You know why? Because I am small, but I am mighty. Okay? And I believe that you are mighty too. There's nothing like the power of the people. So when I say can we, can you say live? Can we? When I say can we, can you say live? Can we? Okay, it looks like we got a little sound right now, right? Like I said, I'm only 5'2", but I am loud because I have to be in order to be heard. I spend enough time, and we all spend enough time shouting to the sky and saying, hey, God, please, please, Lord, let's save these people's lives. Okay? And I'm going to share a little bit more about you, why it's so significant that we all do. Because what we are going through and experiencing and have been experiencing for decades in Bayview-Hunters Point is something that doesn't just directly affect us, it affects you too. Okay, Maria Harrison Community Foundation, Inc. was a birth child that sprung after Maria Harrison passed away. Maria Harrison was deemed the mother of the movement for environmental justice in San Francisco, California, and also known abroad. This woman, she fought to her very last breath, literally, to save the health and well-being of our community. Next slide, please. Okay, so Marie Harrison Community Foundation, Inc. seeks to provide a powerful platform for the community to become leaders for change in environmental and social justice. Named after Marie Harrison, the mother of environmental justice, which started in San Francisco Bayview-Hunters Point District. District 10, Marie Harrison spent decades working to bring environmental, health, and social justice to her community. Next slide, please. The Can We Live Coalition was born out of the need to transform Bayview and San Francisco as a whole. It's a multi-generational initiative that demands people over profit and reparations for the harm allowed to continue of the poisoning of the residents in District 10. Can We Live was developed to activate and amplify the community's voices for a full cleanup of the many brownfield sites in the Navy shipyard, along with the health burdens and high rates of cancer and respiratory disease. I'm gonna say that again. Bayview-Hunters Point has the highest rate of cancer and respiratory lung disease in the nation, concentrated right there on that hill. But there's nothing to see here. They want to tell us that we have an innate predisposition to this disease. I wanted to let you know that being a lifelong resident, that I had a great aunt that lived to be 102, but she didn't live in Bayview-Hunters Point. She didn't live in District 10. Like I said, what's affecting District 10 is also affecting San Francisco. Next slide, please. This picture is interesting. Besides staying in a predominantly very diverse community of color, we are Black, we are white, we are Asian, we are South Pacific Islander, we are Latino in Bayview-Hunters Point. The community continues to fight being displaced. Right here, I'm at a art exhibit at Soma, where they were making plans of what they were gonna do with Bayview-Hunters Point, but none of us were incorporated into that plan. That's why I was there. For a long time, they've been making promises to Bayview-Hunters Point residents saying that they're stakeholders. When they promise us jobs, what happens is they don't give us the jobs. They come in and they make the money, but they don't give us jobs. So we don't have any upward mobility there as well, not in the way we would want to see it in real time. Okay, so as the founder of Marie Harrison Community Foundation, Inc., I collaborate with the city of San Francisco and community-based organizations to find solutions to myriads of social and environmental justice issues faced by impacted Bayview-Hunters Point residents. Next slide, please. Okay, Marie Harrison Community Foundation, Inc., we collaborated with Bay Area Air District to get a scholarship, to make a scholarship based in my mother's, yeah, Marie Harrison is my mother's, my mother's namesake. Okay, Marie Harrison, that upholds the legacy of the scholarship, supports college students who demonstrate a passion for improving environmental health and air quality in overburdened frontline communities of the Bay Area. Those students are receiving $5,000. Yes, and the high school seniors are qualified too as well. So that went live. So far, we have 80 people that have applied so far. So we'll be announcing those names sooner than I say later. I'm thinking projectively by next month to be sure. But sometimes we keep on getting these little setbacks, but we know the people have put in their application. I've secured the money back in 2019. I had to ask myself what I was gonna do, because first of all, I was devastated that my mother passed away. A year before that, I lost my dad. My dad was a military veteran. He also helped to create a lot of programs in Bayview. When he changed his life, he has a very interesting story too. Very colorful. My father, when he got out of the military, he was addicted. He had an addiction, and unfortunately, it got him in a lot of trouble. He also suffered from PTSD when he came home. And he came home to a place that still seen him as just a Black man and not worthy of anything else. So a part of my father's movement, when he decided to get clean and he decided to change his life, what made his testimony so strong is that a lot of the soldiers followed him into recovery, and they followed him out, and they all went to create programs for veterans that have fallen through the cracks, to get them into grant per diem housing, and also to get them into permanent housing and some wraparound services, and get them to have more faith back into the system, which they really didn't have a lot of faith in. I also meet military women that don't even know that they are veterans. So I've been working with military veterans since 2005. Okay, so next slide, please. This is a part of the Biomonitoring Project Tracking Cancer Clusters program. We have outreach workers from all over the city, and we have a group of community residents that are also supporting that effort as well. We have a lot of fun when we're out there. People usually are nervous to talk to people that they don't know, but I make it fun. It's really easy. You know, it's nothing like saying hi. I'm still old school because I was raised around a bunch of older folks. So I'm the person just walking down the street saying, hey, how you doing? Hi, how are you? You know, today. And people are used to that from me, but a lot of people walk past each other every day and they don't even say hi. We don't know each other's story. We don't know how we can support each other. You know, how can we help? How can I help you? I ask that question about 50 times a day. How can I help you? I can help you with alcohol and drug treatment. I can help you with housing. I can help you just by listening, because I don't know what you need until you tell me, right? Okay. Some of the proposed partnerships with the Air District. Besides that, I've been working in collaboration with the Air District. I work with the supervisor, talking to our District 10 supervisor about some of the issues that are going on. Not just talking to him, but actually providing him with evidence to broaden his scope of thinking. So sometimes you have to get out of the office and you have to do something I call comparative information. It's not good enough just to accept a proxy statement from these different entities that you now have in your stead, because they're going to make it look really good and pretty on paper. However, you have to do cross information. You have to listen to what the people are saying and come out and see what's really going on, and then do comparative information to what you're seeing on that report. And I think that we need to get all of our supervisors to follow that suit. Would you agree? So I struck out trying to get indoor air filtration systems for our community resident members, which are low-income families. And usually, I don't know why, I don't know if this is for everybody's unit, but notoriously, when you stay in low-income housing and there's a lot of construction going on, there's a lot of free radicals that are coming through the air. They can be measurable by 2 p.m., right? That means that it's small particulate matter, but it attaches itself to his lungs. Now, Bayview is a place that is notorious for being a dumping ground for other people's stuff. People complain about the homeless population that we have there that are setting up furniture and living room sets and having a tea party outside, but they would not be able to do that if people did not bring their items and dump them on the street. So sometimes we have to take a look at ourselves and take ownership for what part we play and stuff like that occurring. Okay, so I'd like to announce that we do have the air filtration program that'll be taken off, and that'll be for not just for businesses that are in the community, but we need to get to the people that are actually in the housing. The reason that I requested the indoor air filtration systems is because notoriously in low-income housing, they don't have that. They're very small units. The fire alarms are super hypersensitive. When you go to cook your food, you have to crack the door and you have to open your window, which also brings in all of the other stuff. It's called muck. It comes in. So we're trying to work on that. That's an initiative that I'm working on working with the supervisor. And I know that that it's already coming to fruition because they've got a place at the YMCA to set it up for businesses that are in the community. And that's a start. It is free. It's a start, but we have to think bigger. I say think bigger, right? Now, one of my dreams is to actually have young, inspiring engineers to work on a project. The project is kind of like an obelisk, right? An obelisk that is also a big filtration system, but what is outside is functioning and is operating to mitigate some of the things that are in the air, some of the poisoning. So people can actually study that, and it also provide jobs and give us something pretty to look at that's functional. It's also mitigating some of the air pollution that we are impacted with. Now that's big. I don't know who's gonna fund it. I don't know how it's gonna happen, but I know who's gonna make it happen. Okay, next slide, please. The next fight was that this one is a really hard one. We are surrounded like the circle of death, we call it, right? And that's by recycled concrete crushing factories. The problem with that is that because it is where it is, nobody's wetting down their soil. That stuff is blowing. We got wind tunnels. That stuff is blowing everywhere. It has a isotope in it called silica that we know that people that have worked for those places have come back years later in their life and said, hey, I am sick. I have this respiratory lung disease from working in this environment. And hey, I need support with paying for my medical expenses. And you guys are the culprit. However, that's not even just the issue. This is just how crazy it is for us in Bayview. Right now it's gotten to the point where we can read and write. And come to find out that all six, including Recology, none of them had permits to operate. So that means that they came into the community. They set up not just small scale operations, but big scale operations. And they were operating sometimes for years, and in some cases months, without permits. My question to you is this: how would you feel if these places were next to your schools where your little kids are? But we want to know why there's such a high rate of respiratory lung disease in the community amongst our kids. How would you feel about that? How would you feel knowing that your grandchildren are being poisoned every day, every hour, and over time? How would you feel about that? Would you allow that to happen in your community? Would you allow that to happen in your community? No. We don't want it either, but we feel like we don't have the power or say to do anything to change anything. I don't believe that. Okay, so the moral to this story is that two of the large scale operations are making their exit plan for the community, and that's by having community meetings, the EJ meetings, and also calling resident members together and calling all the parties that are involved to the table. And I'm not talking about the middleman. We're talking about the heads of these places. The heads of these places. We love our liaisons. Our liaisons, they come out in the right spirit. They have the heart and they have the communication skills to talk to us folks and inspire hope. However, they're just as disappointed as we are because the person that's making the decision, they don't have to answer for their discretion. Matter of fact, they need to justify in their mind why they should even patronize us with a conversation. And I say we can't afford to do that anymore. Next slide, please. Just to make it more clear to you, so we know that I'm not just up here tooting my horn or trying to pull on your heartstrings. I want you to know that this is a tox screening analysis that I took back in January 19th, 2021. Okay. I have antimony in my system that's above reference range for any human body. I have cadmium in my body that's above reference range for any human body. I have strontium, I have nickel, lead, arsenic, baridium, and rubidium, and thallium above reference range for any human body. How would you feel if I told you that I just participated in another urinalysis tox screen test for uranium and for plutonium? Oh, did I fail to mention that in Bayview-Hunters Point was the place where all the ships came to get cleaned, and there were labs set up that dealt with radioactive materials. And we have one of the biggest dump sites that have all those materials in it. Matter of fact, it's clean, right? There's nothing to see here. But I do believe that new homeowners just won a case for $6.3 million because they found radioactive markers under their homes. Imagine that. So let's go back to the test. I took a test in June this year, along with a couple other residents. 10 out of those tests came back positive for uranium and for plutonium. Could you hand me that, please? No, the paper, right there on top. And these were done by 2 different labs. Both of these tests. One was done by one lab and one was done by another lab, because, you know, for me, I need 3 points of reference, right? Because it can't possibly be true. Out of those 10, 8 people came back positive for plutonium and uranium. And I'm here to tell you today, ladies and gentlemen, that I was one of those people. So in response, in the email said, Arieann Harrison, here is the PDF of your report on 24-hour urine plutonium. Attached is your and if you cannot open, please contact me. Your results is 0.028 PCI 24 hours or 24-hour testing. Your levels are comparable to the values found in the Air Force cleanup workers heavily exposed. The highest 26 Air Force personnel exposed were the only ones tested out of 1,600 people used in the cleanup. These especially high exposed workers had between 0.080 and 0.005 PCI 24 hours a day in their follow-up urine for comparison. A large number were below the detection limit, even though they were heavily exposed. The urine levels only represent 0.18% of the pollution of the plutonium amount in your body. 99.8% is still in the body and in the bones and other organs. The reason the number appears low is that the method used to present the data, it was a method used to present the data, which that was the urine sample, and he put it in emphasis, it is not low. This plutonium is part of the reason you are not feeling well. I am hoping that the Berkeley group can find a treatment. Call me as soon as you can. This is the test. So the total urinalysis is alpha on the alpha spectratory limit. I'm not a scientist, but I am a person who cares. Not for me, I don't want anybody feeling sad for me because I'm gonna stick it out and fight it out like nobody's business. I'm worried about the next generation coming along behind me. You know why? Because that gets me excited. That sets me on fire, knowing that there's a whole generation of leaders out there that are ready to take it to the next level. We can't keep on saying, ladies and gentlemen, that San Francisco is the do-it-first city or the climate justice leaders when there's an elephant in the room. You have to lead by example. You cannot lead this fight or say those things out loud, and you have not taken care of that. You have allowed this to exist for decades. You have dismissed the citizens of San Francisco. You have dismissed the residents when they said they are sick. You have dismissed us like we were an afterthought because we are not doctors. But guess what? I know a few good ones. I know some incredibly great scientists that are willing to put people's lives before profit. I know some scientists that were afraid, got nervous when they actually seen the results. That's not ignore the science, but let's talk about something happy. I'm here, I'm talking in front of you guys. I feel great. A minute my leg was really messing up on me. I am in pain. However, I'm gonna be better tomorrow. You know what sets me on fire? What sets me on fire is that I know that we can look past the differences and we are people. And at the end of the day, here's something for you. I just want to tell you this, no matter what, we are still going to be left here on this planet together. Now we have all this magical stuff happening. People are going to the moon and leaving out to space. But how many of you people in this room right now got a ticket to ride? How many people, if we keep on destroying this planet, how many people in this room have a ticket to ride? How many of us are going to be able to get on the next carrier going to outer space and going on a great adventure, discovering a new planet and being able to live there? Now, that's something projectively that can happen in the future, and I'm excited about it. Maybe my grandkids will be here to see it. Maybe not. My name is Arieann Harrison. I'm the founder of Marie Harrison Community Foundation, Inc. for social and environmental justice. CanWeLive.org. Can we live? Thank you. I forgot to tell her the next slide. We also do a lot of good things for that are a little bit more lighter and fun. We work with the community residents. We do projects with kids. We do projects with community resident members. We do historical ground truthing. We operate in a space to invite more people. I've talked to people from all over California. I've even met with the Ohlone tribe. I've taken a walk with a person from Japan, Sufong, and she has walked the earth because of what's going over in Japan and in China with the radioactive chemicals that are out there. So I'm seeing that we are all one, whether we want to believe it or not. I'm asking you today to put aside the differences and let's look at the similarities. If the aliens came from outer space, right? If the aliens came from outer space, we'd all be human beings. You know why? Because we all have the same enemy. Okay, so I'm gonna bring up Miss Tonia Randell. I know you guys didn't get that, but it's supposed to be funny, right? So patronize me, all right? I'm gonna bring up Miss Tonia Randell. Ms. Tonia Randell is my administrative person, and she is also a military veteran, and she can share with you some of her experiences with being in the military and also being a community resident member.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting us. I am a military veteran of the United States Marine Corps. I serve with honor, just like the rest of my brothers and sisters. Ariann's father, Naeem Harrison, was my mentor as a case manager for Hope House for veterans. What you see here, that mound, that's from Harbor Road. This is Harbor Road. You take Harbor Road up the hill, you reach my house. You have Canadian geese, which are protected, walking around those mountains of recycled concrete. Again, you see it right here. This is the Heron's Head Park, right adjacent to Recology. What is in those mounds is the silica that Arieann spoke about. There is no way on earth to block the air. The air is going to flow freely. There is no way on earth to stop the water. The water is going to flow freely. And the earth moves constantly. This is not just going to happen in the Bayview-Hunters Point. It's already spread to the rest of San Francisco and to the East Bay. Okay? We are all suffering because of industrial pollution. In the Navy shipyard, just like Arieann spoke about the plutonium and uranium, plutonium comes from uranium to make atom bombs. The shipyard made the atom bomb. Ships went out, ships came back, and they needed to be cleaned. All of that material is in the ground. Looking across, I see so many beautiful faces coming together to worship and to be a part of the community of humanity. What we have here is a crisis. With sea level rise, it's going to push all those contaminants in the ground into the bay. And it's going to present flooding in the inner city from groundwater. That's part of sea level rise. It pushes the fresh water up. Dr. Christina Hill from Berkeley University has mapped all of that. The science, like Arieann said, is real. It's here. There is no one in our community that has not experienced a death, an early death of someone from respiratory or cancer. And I'm sure the rest of the city has also experienced that with loved ones who had no history of cancer. We're all here together to learn about what's going on in our city. And what's going on in our city is well known around the country. It's well known around the world. Where it is not well known is where the people live. The animals in our community have come up with, different cancers simply because they play in the grass, they swim in the bay. There is not enough signage to tell you, don't play here. There is not enough signage to say, don't fish here. People coming from other countries where they fish to live, they're going to fish in that bay. We have 15 years knocked off our lives in District 10, just for being raised there, from working there. 15 years. My mother, Jeanette Rogers, passed away from undetermined brain cancer. We don't know where it came from. But what I do know is that I grew up across the street from Highway 101, the freeway. The only thing separating us was Bayshore. And in the 60s, we had lead-based fuel. All that lead being burned was coming in our windows. and spreading across the city. There is a plan, or there needs to be a plan for the next great earthquake, for sea level rise, for the possibility of a tsunami, similar to what happened in Japan. The ground here can be cleaned. Our voices are loud, but they're not loud enough. Marie Harrison Community Foundation has brought so many different departments together to say, whatever your contingency plan is, it has to contain what ifs from the water, the air, and the earth. Everybody's gonna say, not my job. If this happens, it's not my job. But it is, because it affects you and your families, even if you live across the bay. The spirit of Marie Harrison flows all through District 10, but many people don't know. They just don't know what's going on. They accept the cancer and the respiratory disease as part of life, but it doesn't have to be. Life, we are given one life, and we only die once. So with saying that, we gotta live the best life, the baddest life, and the loudest life that we can.
Okay, now we get to the fun part. How can we help? Okay, so, you know, we do have a lot of fun when we're out there. We build community. You know, I go to wherever I can be heard, you know, whoever's going to listen. I bring kids with me so they can express themselves. It also makes a platform for them to do public speaking. Our children are smarter than some of us adults. That's crazy, but they really are. And they're really concerned about the earth and the planet, you know, and they know that clean air, water, and land is not too much to ask for, right? Because we all need it to survive. No matter our circumstances or our financial means, we need clean air, water, and land to be okay. Right? So I'm saying that if you want to donate your time, we are open to that. I'm getting ready to revamp my board, so I am looking for board members at this time. If you have a skill set that can add something to what we're doing, well, our doors are open. Our arms are wide open. You know, I have my strengths, but I'm not magical, even though some people think I am, right? And so yes, you know, we're open because you all in this room have something to teach. I'm looking at your faces. I can just imagine some of the jobs and different amazing things that you guys have done and accomplished in your lifetime. Some of us will never have that opportunity to accomplish the things that you have. Some of us are really interested in knowing more about you, and I'm one of those people. So my doors are open. I can be reached at 415-504-5107. You can also look at my website, which is Marie Harrison Community Foundation, Inc. and www.canwelive.org. It'll give you some more insight through the website of all the services that we provide. But it's not where we've been, it's where we're going. Every Wednesday we have outreach. We all meet at Allgood's Pizza in Bayview on 3rd Street. It'll be a good time for you to connect with your San Franciscans and your neighbors and find out a little bit more about them. It's very diverse, very comfortable setting. I'll go out with you. We'll have fun. We can do some outreach. You can read some materials that'll give you more information. We also have EJ meetings that happen at least once a month, where there's information, there's people that are coming and giving presentations from air quality management, from the Bay Area Air District, from the EPA, US EPA, and we're all trying to figure out this thing to make life a little bit more doable for everybody. So I look forward to seeing you. If you cannot donate your time, I really want your time. Like I said, I would really like for you to donate your time. You know, the financial donations are great and excellent. And what they'll be supporting is outreach materials. They'll be paying for testing for more residents. There'll be more residents for chemical exposure. The donations will also be contributing to community residents that want to be a part of the solution to get educated about these things. They'll be going also into the funding that also supports students with higher education in sciences and engineering and so on and so forth, and health. I'm interested in you, if you coming out and seeing it for yourself. I'm interested in what you do. I'm interested in how I can learn more about you. I'm interested in you donating your time. But if you cannot give us your time and you just want to give a gift of love, we're accepting that too. Thank you very much for having us today. God bless you. God keep you and all your travels and everything that you do.
Andrew?
Yep. Here. Do we have any questions in the room?
Down someplace for us? We have a sign up email too, so we can send out information if you sign your, if you sign your names on the sheets on each table, you can put your name and your email down and we can send more information out. And then we have a flyer over on the table here that has information on the organization.
Great, thank you. Another question. Are you working to put together a ballot measure for San Francisco?
I haven't worked to put together a ballot measure for San Francisco. I think we've tried certain things over the years. I'm open to that. That is not my strength. A lot of people have approached me about things like that. But California has some pretty great laws. They just put together an ad hoc group, which will be working on in environmental law and trying to close some of the gaps there. And what I figured out is that California has some environmental laws, but the problem is not the laws. The problem is enforcement. We have laws, environmental laws. However, now when it comes to enforcement, you have to enforce the law. Who do we have on High Station that is astute in environmental law? Is there a team built around them? Those are the questions that I asked, I asked the district attorney and the interim district attorney, and also the district attorney that was there before them. So the reason that we were able to shut down some of the recycled concrete companies was because we had the meeting that we had with our district supervisor, and then one of our district attorneys said that one day while strolling through the neighborhood, I noticed, we don't care, we'll take it. right? We'll take it however it came about. I'm not really a politician. I'm not interested in politics. You know, politics sucks. I'm just gonna be real with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not interested in politics, but if you would like to put together a measure and you think that would actually help to change some of the things that are happening in these communities and abroad, people don't usually see it as a problem if they don't see themselves as a part of the problem, or if they don't see themselves being a part of the people that are being burdened. The reason I brought my own personal testing, those are my tests that I brought today and I passed around. I passed it around because I wanted to give you guys something on paper that actually let you know that this is not fabricated. This is real stuff. You know, a lot of people that got tested, some people don't feel comfortable talking about their medical stuff and stuff like that, but I could either sit on it, keep it quiet, or I could take the shot and put it out there so more people would come get tested, and hopefully we can tap into some of that humanity that are in our local politicians. You know, willful ignorance is unacceptable. Willful ignorance means avoiding the problem, avoiding speaking about the problem, putting out these paper statements, but not coming to address the people, not taking into account the science that's behind it. You know, how many of you guys in this room have read the civil grand jury report on sea level rise? Then you understand what I mean. All of that hard work that went into that from people that are professionals and very qualified. But still, if you're a politician, you're not a scientist. So respect the scientist's job, respect the recommendations of the grand jury report, because you know you can't cross your fingers and hope that the inevitable doesn't happen on your watch. So I hope that if you haven't read the civil grand jury report on sea level rise, please do read it. September 15th, everybody's going to be down at the mayor's office and to request that all district supervisors adopt the language and the recommendations of the grand jury.
My question is, can you talk more about your effort to encourage your students to go into the sciences and to because you know I see San Francisco State University is right on the other side of the city, but you know, in some students' minds, it could be on the other side of the world. So you know, I'm interested in getting you and your foundation more in communication with people at San Francisco State.
I am totally open to that idea. So let's connect. Make sure you leave your information and make sure that we do connect. Okay, because I'm interested in learning what you know. All right. And I'm also interested in connecting the dots for our community members and all the students really in San Francisco, in getting them to adopt some of the sciences. You know, people that work in the health industry, you know, I'm interested in them as well, because, you know, I can tell you, this is my experience as a Black woman, is that our medical system is not prepared for what we're finding. They're not equipped. They're not prepared. Our regular systems of care, they're not. Matter of fact, if you're going to take a urinalysis test, you say, hey, I feel I have the need to believe that I've been chemically exposed. Please test me for these things. Try it, see what happens. Been there, done that.
All right.
So I am interested in knowing a lot more about, let's say, you. What's your name?
Shannon. Nice to meet you. I'm working on the affordable housing that we're doing here on the square, and I raise my 2 kids. Yep. Yeah, but this is, yeah. Been a member of the board here on the square for about 7 years. So yeah, this has been really great, interesting. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I signed up. I think this is really, really important information. So thank you so much.
Hello, sir. How are you? I said, hello, sir. How are you?
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm like,
Very.
okay, can I tell you that? That's okay. You know why? Because I like to speak loud. Can you tell us a little bit about you? I can't hear you. Oh, okay.
So, all right. And actually, Arieann, we have a worship service here coming
Okay.
up, so we should wrap it up.
Okay, so thank you guys very much for having me today. You guys are awesome. You rock. And we appreciate it, me and Tonia. And thank you, Tonia.
Yeah, Tonia, introduce.
So please sign up, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.
Yeah, and thank you, Tonia Hughes. You don't always see the face, the person behind the emails that you get from the church
Yes.
office. And thank you, Tonia. Arieann.